we don't have a complete picture, obviously, of where every article of defense materials has gone, but certainly a fair amount of it has fallen into the hands of the Taliban.
How many American citizens remain in Afghanistan?
I don't know.
I don't think this could have been handled. This actually could have been handled better in any way. No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled.
Well, there you have it. The Taliban has our weapons and equipment, and we don't know how many Americans we need to evacuate, and the president thinks this went as well as it could have. Even CNN doesn't believe that.
I think a lot of people outside that airport, particularly those taking the kinds of extreme actions we're just talking about, would like to know, if this isn't failure, what does failure look like exactly?
The fall of Afghanistan and the chaos that has ensued is a massive failure, but who should be held accountable? I'd like to welcome Lieutenant General retired Keith Kellogg, former Executive Secretary and Chief of Staff for the National Security Council in the Trump administration. General, thanks for being with us this evening. You know, when you look at 10,000 plus Americans, and again, we don't really know the exact number of how many are over there, you look at that they have our military equipment, our weapons. How did this get botched so badly?
Yeah, well, Jen, thanks for having me. Look, this is a debacle of historic proportions. Not so much when I say the plan, I said, okay, we understand they were getting out. We understand there was a plan to get out. We had a pretty good plan in the Trump administration to get out, but the execution of it fell apart. And it's almost like you have to say, how could this possibly happen? Was he given bad advice? Did he give bad recommendations? What exactly happened? And I think right now that the president is held accountable, the vice president's held accountable, the national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, should be held accountable, the Secretary of Defense should be held accountable, and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs should be held accountable. All of them failed in their basic mission, and that was just to extract Americans from Afghanistan, and they failed miserably at this. And now we have Americans at risk, and we've put more troops back in there than we've had in the last year. And so the questions are fair that the American people are asking. All I can say is it's terrible incompetence at every single level I know of.
Sure. General, regarding accountability, you know, look, this is a stark failure, and it's the latest failure, but it's hardly the only failure in Afghanistan because, frankly, we've been failing there for 2 decades. And I want to call your attention to a quote from the Afghanistan Papers, which was a great work of journalism. I rarely praise the Washington Post, but this was a great work of journalism by the Washington Post in late 2019, and here's what they said then. Year after year, U.S. officials failed to tell the public the truth about the war in Afghanistan. And by the way, that's not just the Washington Post's opinion. This is a heavily cited report. I read the entire thing when it came out. Unfortunately, General, it got very little attention. It came out in late 2019 in the middle of a sham impeachment of President Trump. Soon after that, we had, of course, the entire COVID story. So this story really kind of got buried. But here's my question to you, General. No one paid a price for all the damning revelations in the Afghanistan Papers. And this, I mean, these were blistering indictments of military and national security leadership, both in uniform as well as civilian. And yet no one paid a price. To my knowledge, not one person was disciplined or fired or paid any kind of consequence. What's your analysis as a former general on the Afghanistan Papers and accountability?
Yeah, Steve, look, there's a 20-year war. The first 2 years, I called it righteous. We went in there for the right reasons. Get al-Qaeda, get bin Laden, and we eventually got him in Pakistan. Get KSM, who is now sitting in and he was the brainchild of the 9/11 attacks. He sits in a jail cell in Guantanamo. But the next 18 years, we forgot who we were as a military, which is to fight our nation's wars, deter if necessary, then fight and win. And we started going to nation building, and we went for 18 years of this, building an army in Afghanistan that looked like the United States Army. We built the wrong army in the wrong place and at the wrong time. And there's a lot of culpability out there for a lot of former senior officers at the 4-star rank and at the 3-star rank that got us to where we're at. It was all wrong, and we shouldn't have been involved in nation building in Afghanistan. We should have done the job that we were sent to do and then get out and then leave Afghanistan to Afghans. Look, Alexander the Great saw that in 327 BC. Then the Russians learned that lesson, and the British learned that lesson, and now we've learned that lesson. That's why Afghanistan has been called by many the graveyard of empires. We had it wrong. As to accountability, you're absolutely right. I mean, without question. And that's the reason I said a second ago that the people like the SecDef and the chairman, if they ought to be held accountable for the actions that we're seeing today, as is the entire national security team that Biden has assembled out there. They all had it wrong. And it's costing us prestige, and it's costing us the ability to strategically go to other places and confront enemies that we're looking at in the future, like China and, of course, Russia out there. So the final thing I'd say, Steve, is when this is all said and done, there will be a commission of some type. They should not allow a single senior officer that served in Afghanistan to sit on that blue ribbon panel at all, because they were part of the problem.
Right.
General, when you look at the senior military advisors to the president, Lloyd Austin, Mark Milley, and you see how this situation turned out, do you have confidence in their ability to advise President Biden?
Well, okay, Jen, great question. Now, Lloyd Austin was one of my brigade commanders when I commanded the Army's 82nd. Mark Milley and I served together in the 7th Division during the invasion of Panama. I saw them on TV last night, and it's the first time I looked at both of them and said, that's clearly deer in the headlights look. They had no idea what was going on. I think they need to do the honorable thing, and the honorable thing is when this is finally settled, they need to walk in the door and resign. That's what the American people should expect, and that's what they should do. You know, we've gone through these kind of things before, and for them to increase confidence in the military, they probably ought to pass it off to somebody else. I'd say that Joe Biden needs to remove him, but he won't, because he denies anything wrong is happening. And you saw that with his interview on ABC, and you see that in his press conferences. He thinks everything's just fine. And he's also hoping that the American people just ignore this like they're ignoring the border crisis.
Yeah,
hopefully
exactly.
it'll go away. Yeah.
Keith Kellogg, we appreciate you joining us. Great to see you this evening.
Thanks, Jen. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.